What is up, everyone? It is Penguin Tiber here, back with another video in approximately 4 weeks. And today, I'm going to be talking about why Nitro Type accounts are slowly becoming useless. I don't know why I'm so happy about this, but I am. Let's get right into it. So this all started a couple weeks ago when Ace Typer made a video talking about what is the best Nitro Type account. And in this short video, he talked about a couple things that made Nitro Type accounts really good, and he explained who the best Nitro Type account for each of those categories was. Makes a lot of sense. But it got me thinking, a lot of these categories aren't actually that useful or important or legitimate. And then the snowball train of thought was already rolling. What actually makes a Nitro Type account good? Why is one account better than another? Why should any one account be sold for hundreds of millions and one account not sold at all because it's just too bad? And I immediately thought to myself, oh, I should make a video called What Makes a Nitro Type Account Good? But then I made that video and I was like, you know what? Not a lot of things actually made a Nitro Type account good for one reason and two there's a lot of reasons, but there's more than one. But due to all of these reasons that I'll go over in a second, it's very difficult to find an actual measure for value on a Nitro Type account. Determining how much an account is worth is very difficult because of a couple of reasons that I'll talk about in a second. So today's video, I will be going over why, and this is my opinion, by the way. I am not right. I am not factually correct. I am simply stating my opinion in saying that Nitro Type accounts are slowly becoming more and more worthless. There's less and less value to Nitro Type accounts. So let's get right into it. Now, in Ace's video, he mentioned some of the things that make a Nitro Type account worth a lot of money, right? Races, cars, speed, accuracy, team presence. Now, the last one's a bit tricky. We'll talk about it in a second. But in my opinion, a lot of these categories can be either cheated or kind of messed with a bunch to the point where it's almost impossible to determine an actually good player based on account alone. Here's why. Let's talk about races. This is easily going to be very, very straightforward, right? Races. Everyone knows that botting and account sharing is a massive thing. Ever since about a year ago, Nitro Type races have been very, very worthless. The reason is because thousands of players are using illegitimate methods such as botting and account sharing to get a large amount of races on their account. And because so many people have botted so many races, the value of any amount of races has gone down considerably. There's probably dozens of people with over 100,000 of races, some of which were done, illegitimately. And so in my opinion, the value of races on an account in Nitro Type has gone down by a lot. Because, for instance, I had 50,000 races. I still have 50,000 races. Back over a year ago when I had 40,000 races, I think I was in the top 100 for most active players of all time. Now my account has almost 0 races compared to all of these botters that get hundreds of thousands of races over a long span of time because they just keep their bots running or they do their account sharing for a large amount of time. And so racing has almost 0 value now unless you're someone like Wildflower, because Wildflower has way more races than almost everyone else. But for someone who has 30,000 races, that's practically nothing because anyone can bot 30,000 races. And so an account with 30, 40, whatever thousand races is never going to be valuable because it's incredibly easy to get that type of account for basically free. It takes a bit of time, sure, but you can do it very, very, very easily with a botting program or a lot of account sharing. And so that's why I think that races aren't really a good way of determining how much an account is worth unless you have a lot more than everyone else. I'd say having more than 200k would make your account worth a lot. Next, we have cars. Now, cars is one of the things that will actually keep an account worth a decent amount of money. For those of you who don't know, I have over 200 cars, and since I've been playing since 2015, a lot of the cars I have are pretty old and can't be brought back into the game anymore. And I know in the in the account trading community, there's a lot of people out there who value these older cars. And so if your account has an older car or a more rare car or a really cool car or hard to get car, your account is instantly worth a lot more than almost every other account because you have something unique, something that no one can get anymore. And I think the reason that cars have maintained their value, whereas races haven't, is because it's impossible to cheese cars or to cheat your way to get into a bunch of different cars, right? These cars can't come back anymore, they haven't came back anymore, which means that only a small number of people have them, which makes anyone who has an account with these cars valuable. Especially very old cars from like 2013, 2012, like the very, very OG, like the Hammer wheels before it was re-released, all that type of stuff. And so if your account has very old or very rare cars like that, yeah, it's probably worth a pretty decent amount of money. That is one way I think you can judge someone's account value simply based on how many rare cars or cool cars or like hard to get cars that they have. Especially if you have a custom car like Dvorak, your account value instantly goes up by a lot. Next, we have speed. What I'm about to say is probably pretty controversial, but here is why I think that having a good speed on a Nitro Type account is practically worthless. And yes, it's botting. For those of you who don't know, For those of you who aren't aware, bots actually used to be mainly for getting a really good speed on Nitro Type. You would hack thousands of words per minute, and then you'd be like, oh, cool and stuff, and then you get banned in 5 minutes. However, bots used to be completely speed-oriented. Now they're very activity-oriented. Not the point. The point is, people can use Nitro Type bots, or botting programs, to bot very, very high speeds and make their accounts look like they're a very fast typist, when in reality they might not be a fast typist. I'm not saying that every botter is inherently a slow typist, but there's plenty of botters out there who might go way, way faster than what they actually average in real life. There's also people out there who use botting programs or things like account sharing to get really high speeds. People get high speeds in like the 230s who definitely can't type 230 words a minute. For those of you who might not know, typing 230 words a minute on Nitro Type is very, very, very difficult, and there's only a few people out there who can actually do that. And so chances are, if you see someone with a high speed like way up there, they're probably cheating. I'll just say that. And the fact that so many people are able to get very high speeds and also high averages very easily with botting programs and account sharing means that the value of having a good speed has gone down so much. You could be the fastest typist in the world. You could be someone like Josh, right, who can type 250 words per minute with Nitro Type almost. But the value of that typing on your account is so small because there's people out there who can just bot the same speed as you. Which means that, yes, in real life, the value of being able to type 250 words a minute is very, very large. That's awesome. On Nitro Type, it's not actually that valuable. Typing very fast doesn't get you more rewards. It doesn't get you more points, really. The only thing it does is get you, like, clout. But the problem is, there's other people who can just bot 250 words per minute, to the point where even if you're the world's fastest typist, your skills aren't unique because there's people who can just bot it. Which really sucks for very fast typists, and especially people who average like 170. Like, it's not really fast, but it's very fast. But their skills will almost never be recognized just because there's so many people out there who bot those same types of speeds. And so that's why I think that speed on Nitro Type accounts is basically worthless, because you can just bot it. Next, there's accuracy. I'm going to keep this one short. I don't think that accuracy is very important at all on a Nitro Type account. The reason for that is that anyone can do 100% accuracy if they just go a bit slower than what they average. For instance, I type 140 words a minute, and if I were to drop down to like 120-ish, then I could easily get 100% accuracy every single race. So I don't think that accuracy is like a terribly... I think that accuracy is a really weird thing to measure in typing because you can just slow down and type perfectly. I think the best thing to measure is speed with accuracy, but I've gotten into that point before. I won't waste time with it now. So I think that accuracy isn't even really a category that you can judge someone's Nitro Type account on, more their typing, right? This is more about like what makes a Nitro Type account specifically good or bad, not what makes a typist good or bad. Obviously, a typist who can type accurately is awesome, but it doesn't really matter that much on Nitro Type because anyone can just slow down a little bit. So this brings me to, I think, the accumulation of this video. What actually makes a Nitro Type account good? Because it isn't races, it isn't really accuracy or speed or any of these traditional typing things. What makes a Nitro Type account good? We've already gone over cars, obviously, and cash is definitely a bit of a factor there. But besides these more materialistic possessions, I think that there's one more thing that can really be used to set apart different Nitro Type accounts. And I think that the one thing that can actually set apart accounts and determine whose account is more valuable is this thing I like to call fame or reputation. Since so much of the concrete like rewards in Nitro Type or ways to determine account value on Nitro Type have been kind of cheesed or screwed with a lot by botting, I think that the one way to tell whether or not an account is like worth a lot of money is based on the person it's attached to. For instance, if you look at my account, besides some old cars and a lot of cash and maybe a custom title here or there, there's not really much to it. There's almost nothing on my account besides these materialistic like possessions that would make my account better than someone else's. Except for one thing, the fact that it's my account, right? I'm Penguin Typer. I'll get a bit ego-y for a second. I'm Penguin Typer. I'm the biggest Nitro Type YouTuber. I'm popular, whatever, right? And because there's a large amount of popularity associated with my account rises in value. Simply because it is known as Penguin Typer's account. It's my account, I'm popular, which makes my account have more value. Same thing with someone like Tendon's account, right? Tendon's account isn't necessarily this super insane account or anything, but because it is specifically Tendon's account, it has a bit more value because it's associated or owned by someone who is popular in the community. Same thing goes with these big leaderboarders or team captains or whatever it is. All of these people who've accumulated fame or like a good status on Nitro Type or in the community have more popular accounts, which makes them more theoretically worth more value. If I were to sell my account, people would be like clamoring to buy it, even without the money or anything. And I think that the fact that someone would want to buy someone's account simply based on the fact that the person who owns it is like popular or whatever is kind of cool, right? It attaches this like unknown sense of value to Nitro Type accounts that you can't really measure or judge in any sort of way, right? You could guess 1,000,000 times how much my account is worth and you'd probably never be right because the account is worth as much as someone would want to pay for it. There's no specific set value of a Nitro Type account because there's always the added value of the popularity or the standing or like whatever you want to attribute to the person who owns the account. Because it's Penguin Typer's account, because it's Wildflower. Wildflower doesn't really count because she has the most races, but because it's Volatile's account or whoever, right? Someone who has a lot of popularity, because it's their account, it has more value. And I think that that's probably the best way to measure whether or not a Nitro Type account is actually good or not. Almost all of the accounts have the same cars, not that much cash, the same titles, achievements, whatever. Speed you can cheat, races you can cheat, accuracy doesn't matter, but the one thing that you can't cheat is simply popularity because it's something that doesn't exist. It's an abstract concept. But when you apply it to a Nitro Type account, it adds this hidden layer of value. I definitely got way too complicated here, but that is what I think about how Nitro Type accounts should be valued. They should be valued based on things that you can't cheat. For instance, cars, cash. Then again, you can cheat cash, so cash isn't even really cash is worthless, and I'll make a whole video talking about that if I want to. But really, it's just cars and the achievements that you have, and then the popularity that is associated with the account that you have. Other than that, there's also some small things like leaderboard position is definitely worth something. People probably pay money for like top 3 accounts or whatever. You could also make an argument that if your account owns like a famous team or something, then that definitely is worth a lot. For instance, like my account has Flipper. Flipper's probably, I don't know. Point being, the one thing that really sets Nitro Type accounts above everyone else's is popularity, or like what's associated with your personality or your image that is your Nitro Type account. And other than that, I think that's really just the best way to determine how much a Nitro Type account is worth. Who owns it? Thank you all so much for watching. I know this video probably ran a bit long, but there were a lot of things I wanted to talk about in here. If you guys enjoyed hearing this more like opinionated type video where I got excited about like my opinion and stuff, because I like doing that, I love sharing my opinion, let me know. I want to make more videos like this. I think that there's tons of topics for me to talk about for, 15 minutes or so for a video, and I would love to do a lot of this in the future. Also, I'm sorry my talking was probably really bad this video. I caught myself a bunch of times like stuttering or like, missing words or whatever. It's simply because I haven't had to do this in 4 weeks, which is a lot of time. I haven't made a video in almost a month, so I'm definitely out of practice, but I promise you, once I do more videos, then I'll be better at talking and all that type of thing. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye, everyone, and have, as always, a wonderful day. Peace.